Hello there, this is Cool Talk. Now today we review another Terrence Malick film, Knight of Cups. If you're familiar with his work, you're used to his elusive, fragmentary style, but here he goes off the deep end. There was no screenplay, no script. He had the actors do homework, read Bible passages, the novel Pilgrim's Progress. He'd have the lead actor, Christian Bale, just standing somewhere. Then he would send somebody over to say or do something, and the actors would have to improvise. He would send crew members out for a drive with the actors with GoPro cameras and have them just do whatever they want. In the end, he put this all on film, and after massive editing, a movie was born. Christian Bale plays Rick, a screenwriter who lives in Los Angeles. He is beset by family drama. One brother had committed suicide, another was lost in drugs. He has problems connecting with his parents, particularly his father, who's played by Brian Dennehy. So he gives himself over to hedonism. He goes to decadent parties, has several affairs with different women, and he's trying to fill a void in his life. He is given choices. He could seek truth, he could seek wisdom, or he could seek pleasure. He wanders through deserts, and he finally reaches some kind of understanding that he must at the very least begin to find truth and wisdom. But there is no final chapter. The last scene is him driving through a tunnel. You hear the word begin. Life goes on as he continues his quest. The film does an excellent job of displaying the hedonism that he succumbed to. Too much success can bring emptiness. Believe it or not, I was reminded of the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, except that in the other film, the character Jordan Belfort was perfectly content to continue his downward spiral. But here, Rick is looking for meaning. I really enjoyed the little bit that we saw of Antonio Banderas, who's completely content to just give in to his indulgences. I wonder what the movie would have been like if we had followed him instead. There are some scenes where we see the homeless on Skid Row, and Rick actually wonders to himself why he isn't one of them. Why is he privileged? There's a priest played by Armin Mueller-Stahl who tells him that suffering is often used by God to bring us closer to Him. That suffering is like a bridge to God, that without suffering, we could go on seeking pleasure instead of seeking God to heal our pain. Knight of Cups is a tarot card. Now, Rick does have tarot cards read out to him, and each card represents a chapter in Rick's life. And most of these chapters are represented by a woman. In one scene, there is an earthquake, and Rick goes outside and sees other neighbors wandering the streets in their pajamas. Another scene shows him being robbed at home, and one thief complains that Rick, with his expensive penthouse, has very little possessions. There is a violent argument that breaks out between him and his brother and his father. We don't see much of it because Malick cuts away from the argument, so we don't know what the argument is about. Now, the father is a religious man. However, there is a scene where you see him washing his hands of blood. Now, Rick has many affairs, and these affairs on screen, for the most part, only last about a minute or so. One was with a supermodel played by Frida Pinto, who tells Rick that dreams are good, but they're not meant to take over our entire lives. He has a memory of Cate Blanchett, who plays his ex-wife. She is a doctor with a very kind manner, and he seems to have a deep fondness for her. But it's telling that she tells him at one point, "Stop threatening to leave me, just do what you want," kind of indicating his selfishness and unwillingness to commit. Now, Rick has an affair with a married woman played by Natalie Portman. He drives by her house one day and sees her outside with her husband. This is the only indication we have that he may be falling for her. Unfortunately, she gets pregnant, doesn't know who the father is. He doesn't really commit. She's not sure what she wants to do. And this relationship, of course, is doomed. We see a glimpse of a baby crawling. I'm not sure whose baby that is. And near the end of the film, we do see him walking in the desert towards the light. He seems to have found some kind of understanding. And now it's time for me to discuss what did I like and dislike about the film. I like the cinematography by Lubieski as usual. I like the performances by Natalie Portman, Brian Dennehy, Christian Bale as well, Cate Blanchett. We just don't see enough of them because Malick has a tendency to cut away in key scenes. But overall, I found Knight of Cups to be very esoteric, cryptic, hard to understand, even if you are familiar with the Bible and Pilgrim's Progress. I like movies that make me think and perhaps to want to go out and read a little bit about the material and what certain things may signify, but you have to entertain me first. And before anybody says, well, you just don't get it, believe me, I've seen thousands of films of all kinds, commercial, artistic, fast-paced, slow, foreign films, everything you can imagine. So please don't tell me I don't get it. I just didn't quite like it. I found Malick to actually be a little lazy. He doesn't write, so I can't call it lazy writing, but to put Christian Bale in the desert and have him at the end climb a hill towards the sun, signifying some kind of epiphany, for me this is lazy, and we've already gone through this route in his last 3 films. We have people, men I should say, wandering the desert, looking at water, walking, and voiceovers. I'm a little tired of the same old, same old. Knight of Cups, like To the Wonder before it, got less than a 50% approval rating from film critics on Rotten Tomatoes. It only made about $1 million worldwide. And I just found it a pompous, pretentious bore. But if you're one of the few that actually saw it, let me know what you think. Comment below, or better yet, subscribe. The next film we're going to review is Terrence Malick's Song to Song. But until then, this is Cool Talk.